Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Inside Abuja. I'm Dashin Husseina Usman. And on this week's episode, we'll be taking a look at a spillover from last week, which is Garki District. And we will be looking at two places. One is Central Business District, that's the CBD, and wuse. Come with me. The Federal Capital Territory is currently made up of 6 local councils, namely ABUJA Municipal, Gwagwalada, Kuje, Buari, and Kwali. Within these council areas are phases that are christened after their stages of development. Phase 1. This is regarded as the highbrow area in Abuja where the elites live. This phase houses most of the established companies and federal ministries in the FCT, especially in the central business area. All the districts in this phase except Kuzape are fully developed with the necessary infrastructure in place. The districts include Asokoro, Garki 1, Garki 2, Kuzape, Maitama, wuse 2, and the Central Business District.
Actually, Garki Chiefdom has been here far back 16th and 17th century, according to oral history. You know, Baji man, we migrated from Zaria, being the base of Baji people. Though the history had been traced to Middle East, which will pass through Kanamborno Empire then, down to Zaria, and then we were there as farmers. You know, Baji man is not an industrial person, he's not a lazy man. So because of we were going up and down, they eventually left Zaria, moved down to Kogorko area, moved towards Sheep area, that's Shishipe. Then we finally come and settle at National Legislative Quarters. That's one hit they are called Pei. So the founder was called Pei. And at that time it was forest, thick forest, and then the place was serving as for hunting as well as serving as a defense area. Because whoever who was coming there as an enemy, they could easily be able to trace that person. So that is how Garki came into existence. But then, that was not the original name. The original name of Garki is Pei, and that is why the name of the title got its name. How did it come? We now have Garki. Yes, what actually happened, we have now the name called Garki was that once some household raiders were kept coming, especially during slave trade, as soon as they come, our people will be able to locate those enemies who were coming, so they'll be able to fight them back. As they were coming every now and then, they couldn't capture the settlement. They say, "Wannan gari ta gagara ci," meaning this settlement is unconquerable. That is how Garki came into existence. You understand? But then, you know, whatever you are going to do, you don't forget history. So, up to now, the Baji people who live within the area, at times they say they are going to pay. When they say they are going to pay, that means they are coming to Garki now. You understand? And that is why we now normally call the normal causes start Sa Pei. Sa means that is a emir or a chief or oba, obi, whatever you call it. Just like you know, Englishmen could respect people called sir. So you see, it's almost the same thing.
Phase 2. Most districts in Phase 2 are fully developed, while others are in their developmental stage. They include Gudu, Durumi, Utako, Jabi, Wuye, Kado, Mabushi, Katampe and Katampe Extension, Jahi, Lakibiu, Kaura, Duboy, Gadua, and Dutse. Phase 3. Districts in this phase include Gwarimpa, Galadimawa, Dakwo, Lokogoma, Womba, Saraji, Kabusa, Okanji, Piakasa, Mbora, Karma. Phase 4. Most districts in this phase are still being developed, and they include Karsana, Sabogida, Idu, Idogwari, Gwagwa, Kaba, Kajini, Keti, Sheti, and Cheche. Others are Warupoma, Gwari, Bude, Shafe, Jete, Mamusa, Burung, and Purfung. The Central Business District, also known as Central Business Area, is the core business area in Abuja. The CBD is in the Phase 1 development plan of the Federal Capital Territory and is located in Garki. It is bounded by Maitama in the north, Wuse in the west, and Asokoro in the east.
We used to share boundary with the Nya Karu people. Then we come towards, when you move down towards western part, we move straight to an area called the Wari District, move down to Dubie then. Dubie is now under Kuje Area Council. Dubie used to be under us, but with the creation of Kuje Area Council, we now share a boundary with Kuje Area Council, which is between Burum and then one other settlement there. That's one river which is serves as a boundary between us now. Then towards western part, which is part of we call it Bao. Bao used to be under us here. They were under us. We installed them, but when FCT was also created and Kuje Area Council was also created, then they moved down to the other side. Then when you come towards the other side here, you come down to Gui, which is they also share boundary with them with Kuje and Gwagwalada Area Council. They're moving towards along this airport road, like Soka is still under this chiefdom, and that the high this Yaradua express road. Then when you just move a little while, you now come to Gosa. Gosa serves part of our boundary between us and Jua, which is the Municipal Area Council. Then you come to that side towards the northern part. We also come to an area called what do you call this place here? We call Gwarumpa is under here. After Gwarumpa district, we also come towards Galadima. Then coming out along this what do you call this Kubwa Suzuba Road. This is the boundary, that highway there. Then towards the villa, then down to the Abacha barrack. So this is the area which is being carved under Gati Chiefdom. In other words, within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, we have about 5 to 6 wards within out of 12 wards we have here, Amak.
It plays host to the seat of government as well as offices of most parastatals, banks, and multinational corporations. It is worthy to note that the Central Business District is quite accessible from any other part of the city. A few of the other sites worth seeing in the area are National Library, Aso Hill, the ABUJA Plant Nursery. The central area, also known as ABUJA Central Business District, sits at the heart of the FCT. This district extends from the city gate in the west to Aso Presidential Villa in the east. The three-arm zone in the eastern part of the district houses the judicial, executive, and legislative arms of the Nigerian government. The famous Eagle Square, where various important parades are held, is similarly located in the neighborhood. Purchasing the land in the central area is primarily earmarked for commercial purposes such as office spaces and shopping malls.
Abuja initially, every city actually have their plans, their designs. There are some countries in Europe, you will not see any rise there. Just see the rest. They did that intentionally. It's part of their own plan. Now in Abuja initially, you can't go beyond 10 floors. From what I gathered, that's why the church gate building was the tallest building in Abuja before now, and I don't think it was more than 10 floors. So Abuja wasn't designed. Wasn't planned, the initial planning, but as things are going, there's always review. So I think it has been reviewed. Now that's why I can see the Water Center. Essentially, that is coming up. I can't now see the ISD allow for Abuja yet. I'm not sure if it has been allowed to go beyond 40 or 25, but it has been reviewed. So that's why the Water Center is coming up now, and which is taller than the church gate building. But initially, Abuja, you can't go beyond 10 floors. In actually Abuja, but developments are coming up now that will give us the high-rise building we're talking about. For example, now the high-rise building that comes to Abuja now is only the Water Center. That's what Kantama high-rise. Then there's the other ones should be the commercial ones, which are the ministries. Some of these are the parastatal buildings that are going up now. So those are the only high-rise buildings. For residential, it's only the Water Center that can qualify as high-rise now.
Some of Abuja and, by extension, Nigeria's best architecture is showcased within the CBD. Examples of such grand architecture include the headquarters of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria head office building, also called the Intelligence Building, was commissioned by the former President Olusegun Obasanjo on 30th of October 2003. It is a 13-story office block comprising of 4 wings around a skylit central atrium.
Like the villa, the 3 arms of government is under this chiefdom. Maitama, Wuse, Asokoro, Garki itself. You come to Lugbe, as I've said earlier. You come down to Kabusa, Keti, Piakasa, Waru, and what do you call other villages? So many villages within this area, they are all answerable to this domain. And the majority of the people, the indigenous people, are the Baji ethnic. And then we have other few ethnic who are Gondaras, as well as what do you call them here? Basa. So, Karamajiji, Kuchugoro, all the people within this area are within the domain, and then we have been living peacefully before the creation of FCT. So, generally speaking, Garkis cover the most central area of FCT. And I think, I'm not even thinking, I think there will be no day that we cannot have visitors or strangers coming from various, from this country, from various states, as well international, that they then come and reside in this chiefdom.
The NNPC Towers. As Nigeria's money-making industry, the building housing the government's oil company is nothing but a monument. The NNPC Towers in Abuja consist of 4 identical towers. The complexes is located in Herbert Macaulay Way in the central business district.
Yeah, high-rise building are important for a lot of reasons. Now, it determines the land use. A lot of things determines what gives rise to high-rise. Now, the land use type, the demand on the particular area. For example, now Lagos. If you look at Lagos, Ikoyi Lake that's the best part of Lagos, the Via area. Now the demand is there. Now, commercial as an individual must be super rich to buy land there. But now, because the demand is high, now a lot of people want to stay in that area due to a lot of reasons: the facilities, the ambience, a lot of you. So they prefer to. So high-rise building in Lagos the demand is high due to that. A lot of people want that kind of ambience that they want. They want kind of environment. So it makes sense to instead of just a family to actually own a property, you can have like 20, 50 buildings in a single building. So that's why I see Lagos demand for high-rise is higher than Abuja. For Abuja, but Abuja is getting to that level too. Maitama, Sokoro, probably Guzape, those are one of the best areas. Katampi Extension, those are the best areas. But if you look at it, it's almost fully developed. To get to a time in Abuja, more people want to stay in that area. So you can see most of the low-rise building giving way to actually high-rise. Most of the high-rise in Lagos, actually buildings existing there before, they were removed to turn to high-rise. So demand is one of the major issues. One, the building plan of the town, regulations of the town, yes, depends on that, but the demand too. Yeah, so the demands too, so it's two things, the regulations and the demand. That's what gives us mostly high-rise most of the time. The importance is one, the ambience. It creates a very good ambience for a city. You know, a city is actually defined by the kind of, like, if you go to Dubai, most of these go to Dubai, Singapore, you see the way the skyline is littered. It creates a beautiful scene. So it's one of the importance of it is that, you know, it makes the city more advanced, more beautiful, and provide better facilities into the so that's one of the most as in the major issue, apart from the advantage of creating more a unit of housing. You know, give me an example again. In Abuja before, they used to approve this in bungalows. It's no longer approved again. And why bungalows no longer approved is this now. The demand with land is getting more. It's getting higher and higher. Now, instead of just a family to stay, you can have 2 or 3 families. So that's why you see now, even in Kuba, I don't see that before there, but now no longer. So the changes, as the city is developing, as demand is getting higher, you need to because it's even cheaper for the government, for example, to provide facilities in a smaller area and accommodate more people than to spread to a bigger area and accommodate less people. So it's more expensive for government, for example, now to keep pushing just for fewer people. When in an area you can accommodate maybe 10,000 people with the same amount, and you go and build infrastructure for 1,000 people with the same amount. You know, it's not economical. So even in government area, it's cheaper to have higher-rise buildings because you can provide facilities for a greater number of people with cheaper amount. It's very expensive to build. The maintenance is higher because this is high-rise. Definitely, no matter any property you have, you must maintain it. Now, when you're having high-rise, it's a different ball game. You actually need to have some special lift equipment to go up the file. For example, if you have issues with yourself externally, when you have externally, for example, normal scaffolding you can't actually go. So you need special equipment to actually service and maintain them. You have problem with your, signal at times, depending on how it is. You have problem with even your connection, internet connection, because there are some internet connections that are not meant to be at that height. So you need to provide a lot of extra facilities. Maybe you have your own special station for internet and call. So it's more expensive to maintain one. Then to actually get some services there is tough. So high-rise building cost a lot to maintain, and it's more difficult.
The National Christian Center. This center displays remarkable work of art and excellent work of craftsmanship. The National Mosque. The Abuja National Mosque, known as Central Mosque, was built in the 1980s, and it is a national monument which belongs to every Nigerian. It is a few meters away from the National Ecumenical or the Christian Center, where Christian events of national significance always takes place. Being at the core of the FCT, land and property here is very expensive. Some distinct major roads in central business area of Abuja include Herbert Macaulay Way, Muhammadu Buhari Way, Independence Avenue, Constitution Avenue, Ahmadu Bello Way, Tafawa Balewa Way, and Olusegun Obasanjo. The Federal Secretariat, the Eagle Square, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Church Gate Building, Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center, Arts and Crafts Village, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is situated across Shehu Shagari Way facing Eagle Square. This section is usually closed to traffic during the annual Armed Forces Remembrance Day ceremonies that are observed on 15 January. Ship House, or Ministry of Defense. The edifice, located at Garki Area 10 and built between the 1980s and the 1990s, was to serve as the headquarters of the Nigerian Ports Authority, but was later taken over by the Ministry of Defense under former President Obasanjo's administration. It is a white building built in the shape of a ship. That's why it is called Ship House, and doubles as the headquarters of the Nigerian Ministry of Defense, which consists of the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, and the Nigerian Navy, and others.
It's very expensive to build. The maintenance is higher because this is high rise. Definitely, no matter any property you have, you must maintain it. Now, when you have in high rise, it's a different ball game. You actually need to have some special lift equipment to go up the file. For example, if you have issues with your software externally, when you have externally, for example, normal scaffolding you can't actually go. So you need special equipment to actually service and maintain them. You have problem with your signal at times, depending on how it is. You have problem with even your connection, internet connection, because there are some internet connections that are not meant to be at that height. So you need to provide a lot of extra facilities. Maybe you have your own special station for internet and co. So it's more expensive to maintain one. Then to actually get some services there is tough. So high-rise building costs a lot to maintain, and it's more difficult.
Defense College. A number of key real estate projects are ongoing in the vicinity, namely the World Trade Center and the Millennium Tower projects. The CBD happens to be the spinal cord of Phase 1. The Wuse District is a developed Phase 1 area as well, also located in Garki District of Abuja. The neighborhood lies to the northwest of Abuja city center and is among the busiest places in the capital. The area is a key commercial center, playing host to the famous Wuse Market. Other prominent landmarks include Banex Plaza, City Park, and Sheraton Hotel. Wuse is one of the most renowned districts in the FCT for recreational activities. Many of the city's best restaurants are located in the district. It can be accurately described as Abuja's most fun and popular district, especially Ademola Adetokunbo Street, which is known to host an excellent mix of business, leisure, dining, and accommodation. Accordingly, the area offers many employment opportunities and is a magnet for people to visit from all over Abuja. Wuse is divided into neighborhoods, namely Wuse 1 and 2. The neighborhoods are then further divided into zones ranging from 1 to 7. Given its good infrastructure, excellent location in the heart of Abuja, and the abundant social activities available, the Wuse area is a very well-liked place to live in. As a result, property prices here are some of the highest in the country. And with this, we've come to the end of this week's episode of Inside Abuja. Until next week, thanks for watching.